Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So I'm reading for Libra energy for today, and I'm getting told to just go in clean, like absolutely go in clean. So I don't know if you've got something to do. It's like, don't overthink it, just do it. It's like almost like let spirit take over. So you've got this encouragement to kind of like completely surrender and just almost like running a gauntlet kind of thing is the way it's coming through. So I am getting intuitive messages already, but I don't want to pull anything in because it was getting overwhelming. So literally we're just doing it. I've tried to do this reading a couple of times, but again, it's like going fresh, going clean. So let's get you a song for your reading. You've got Velvet World by Shiadanni. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but it will be down in your description box down below. She's a singer, she's a comedian, she's on Instagram, she's brilliant, funny. Do go and follow her, I think she's hilarious. Just like the sun, I melt the snow. The diva, La Katrina. Strip down your love, I'll tango with your love. I am getting something about dancing, specifically dirty dancing. They keep showing me, you know, the girl in it who's like dancing across the bridge. And I was getting Hey Baby. So that's in my notes from when I tried to do your reading last time. Tango with your love, I'll be your medicina. Oh my God, yeah, you're getting the same messages. Okay. I'll be your medicina. So I was in the bath, okay, embarrassingly, and I was kind of like surrendering. I was like, get everything out, all the junk out of my mind, complete surrender, like open to the universe. And immediately I looked down and I saw my conditioner that I kind of just put in my hair. So it is a little bit messy, just to kind of say, and it's not a promo, it's not an ad, although John Frieda, if you're watching this by any chance, sponsor me, I love your products. But yeah, I kind of looked down and I saw this, John Frieda, Miracle Drops. So I went straight to Miracle Drops, like my eyes went to that and it was like, this is your intuitive message, and damage repairing. So I'm getting a lot of stuff, Libra, about childhood wounding and abandonment issues that you may have, and this need to grip on and cling. So I think you've done a lot of shadow work. I think this is healing, but it's not just you, it's like there's another. So you've got this energy of somebody mirroring you, or like recognizing the devil in others, right? Recognizing the wounding in others is the way it's coming through. And then being able to show up with your love, or have people do this for you. And it's coming through as, again, I'll just kind of get this back out, because what it was giving me, like Miracle Drops, it was like the kind of relationship that works miracles for you, or you do this for another. Again, it's got this kind of like two-way thing to it. Two-way street is coming through. Maybe somebody lives on a dual carriageway or something. I don't know. Can you even live on a dual carriageway? I don't know. I don't have a driving license. So I'm probably not going to get one at this rate. So yeah, Miracle Drops. So it's like this love is like medicine. This love is incredibly healing, but it's really intense. So it's like you can only take it in small doses, and then it's like the running, right? So it is coming through. I mean, people talk about twin flames. I don't know, I'm cautious about using that terminology, but I think, you know, the way people talk about that sometimes, again, it's like this incredibly powerful relationship, like take the terminology out of it. So what I'm seeing is you and another, or you and a group even, with the same wounding, right? It's probably like childhood abandonment issues, like mummy and daddy issues is the way it's coming through. And like coming together and having like a love for each other that's so powerful and so accepting of each other's flaws that there's a rejection, right? It's almost like this is so important to me, this is so healing to me, this is so good that I have to reject it before it rejects me. So there's this coming together and pushing apart energy. It's like intense is the way it's coming through. So that's not going to be for all of you, but if it's resonating, take it. If not, like leave it. But again, that was the intuitive message I was getting for you. So again, I've not pulled your cards yet because it's very overwhelming and it's emotionally overwhelming. So I didn't want to kind of like pull too much into the reading. So I just kind of want to go quite quickly. Again, it's almost this energy of like small doses. So what do we have for Libra, please? What do we have for Libra here? You've got the creator. Someone else had that, maybe Cancer, and the healer. See what I'm telling? Medicine, right? Love is healing. A relationship that's healing, or even if this is a toxic relationship, because it came out with the devil twice when I tried to do one of your off-camera readings in preparation. So you have this devil energy. It's like you and this other and the devil within, right? Reflecting each other's shadow. But it's this thing of like, it's almost like if you could forgive say you have a certain fault, right? They're giving me The Fault in Your Stars. I don't know if that's like a book or a movie. I don't think I've actually seen it, but it sounds familiar. The Fault in Our Stars, is it? So it's like the fault in yourself, right? The core wounding, right, that you've been trying to repair, that you've been trying to do that shadow work on, and then you meet somebody with the same wounding. So it is coming through as acceptance and rejection kind of thing. So you had like, will you still love me when I'm no longer young and beautiful? Bored by Billie Eilish, which talks about you know, being abandoned and getting used to it. So like somebody who's like, you don't know where they, you know, having a partner and you don't know where they are and they're not picking up the phone, and it's like, you abandoned me so much that I got used to it and it doesn't hurt me anymore. So again, it could be a toxic relationship that heals you from that dependency, because I don't know, you get so callous to it, which doesn't sound good. And again, it could be lots of different ways. It could be like a teacher who has a big impact on you, or you know, finding that parent figure in a boss or something like that. But again, it's coming through like mum and dad. So again, I feel like it's two people who are coming together and kind of like, I don't know, it feels like healing the abandoned wounds in each other. But again, like if you look at those kind of relationships, like they are triggering. They are, you know, they trigger the abandonment wounds, which is why which is why people come together for a short time and then it's like they go away and they process, right? So you feel like you've got one of these relationships where this is happening. It's not necessarily good, but you know, it's like it's kind of like the poison is the best medicine, because you were coming through things like the tarantula and the tarantula and the cobra in your other reading, which is like this grabbing poison energy, right? This kind of so again, like this kind of toxicity of needing to grab, of needing to cling. But it was like there was two of you, right? It was like you were doing this to each other. But again, it's like, to get the cure for the venom, you have to milk the snake, and then it's like that creates the anti-venom. Do you know what I mean? It's like the poison is the cure, like the poison is the tonic. So you've got this weird thing going on as well. I'll be your medicine, your tequila. Sorry, back to a velvet world. I'll hide in your warm arm in the misty dawn. Gentle, treat me like a piece of art. Dive into my thighs. Tell me what you feel inside. Interpret. I want to know what I mean to you. So maybe you're dealing with somebody who's not very good at talking about the feelings. I feel like you probably are, depending on your Venus placement, your Mercury placement, your moon placement. This should tell you your communication style in relationships. But yeah, if you've air signs are normally very, very open to discussion, but you may have somebody who's a bit more, maybe like a Cancerian placement, who's a little bit more candid about how they feel. Interpret, I want to know what I mean to you. Baby, you better describe. What do I taste like? You and I in a velvet world. Yeah, so it's a sexy song. Take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. The creator and the healer. So it's like creating the medicine, creating the art. The healer talks about this being a circuitry process. It's almost like going around in circles, but getting a little bit better at it each time. So again, it has this feeling of like a relationship where people, you know, they come together, they have this healing moment, and then they push away and run, because it's, again, feels overwhelming. So it's like each time you do this, yeah, like, I don't know, maybe you get, I don't know, it's got this like a little bit of a step each time energy. And then the creator. So this could be talking about how important it is to create art, or I don't know, even just like journal or create a diary about your feelings, about the impact this has on you. But it's like, use your creative side, use your creative mind, even just your imagination, even just like have a long bath and imagine what it would be like to be with this person. Imagine what the perfect relationship would look like. Imagine what this could be like if you were both healed, and kind of like dream the world into being in that kind of way. But yeah, it's not a linear process. Healing journeys always are a bit like a roller coaster. You know, you're gonna have really good days, you're gonna have really bad days. But again, it's got this feeling of like, when you accept, it's like when you accept yourself, when you accept your own wounding, when you learn to love yourself, you can love this wounding in others without rejecting them, and vice versa. If you say you have this person who means so much to you, it's like you love them so much, you would literally, it's like this clinging, obsessive kind of relationship is the way it's coming through. It's like they're so important to you because they are a mirror to you. Do you see what I mean? And like your ability to love this person, including their faults, If that person mirrors you and has the same faults, it means that you love yourself. So there's also a flip side of this. If you're rejected by this person who's mirroring your faults, they're actually rejecting themselves. You know, it's a projection on you, so they reject themselves. You know, if you reject them, you're also rejecting yourself. Does that make sense? In rejecting, it's like if they've got the flaw that you also have, in rejecting them, you're also rejecting yourself. You're not allowing yourself to love yourself and your flaw if you reject them and their flaw, if it's the same flaw. Does that make any sense? I don't know. It doesn't, and I'm not saying this is necessarily healthy, and I'm not necessarily saying this is toxic. It has that, it does have, like, you know, the venom is the anti-venom quality to it. So again, it could also be that you have wounding from a previous relationship and you're going into a new relationship where perhaps you're very, very, very good for each other and very healing for each other, but you've both been through, again, you've got this mirroring, you've both been through this pattern of perhaps both having the same kind of toxic relationship previously, where you both have abandonment issues, or perhaps you've got the same childhood, you know, the same, you know, your problems with your parents. It has this real kind of mirroring yin yang to your reading, but a lot of kind of shadow and devil. So again, I don't know, you ended with the Judgment card last time, so again, it felt like this second chance energy, or this revival energy. I don't know. Let's see what your reading says. Okay, so we've got, yeah, I feel like Virgo, I'm getting kind of Cancer and Virgo in here, so take that if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. Ten of Swords, this again is like some kind of brutal ending. Lizard energy. Ten of Swords, like, that's really kind of like getting stuck in your head and feeling betrayed, feeling rejected, you know, feeling very, very hurt by somebody. Lizard energy, that's a very sensitive energy. Son of Pentacles is kind of like, that's kind of like taking it a day at a time. Again, if you're on some kind of healing journey, it's not going to happen overnight. It's a process. I've just started watching as well. One of my Pisces friends who's really into psychology, she recommended to me this Netflix show called Stutz, where Jonah Hill is basically, he's kind of turning the tables on his own psychiatrist, and this psychiatrist has had such a profound impact on Jonah Hill and his trauma and his abandonment issues and his problems with his parents and his childhood and all this kind of stuff. I don't know, they've not really got into it yet. I don't really know a lot about Jonah Hill, yeah, and this therapist who's had this huge profound impact on him, and this, I don't want to kind of like spoil too much, but he's trying to get he's trying to give this therapist a platform so that his techniques can benefit a bigger number of people, basically. But it's quite interesting. Again, I'm kind of maybe about a third, maybe halfway through it. But yeah, it could be something to check out. Again, this feeling of like working very, very hard. The beaver shores up their emotions. You know, the beaver creates a dam. So water talks to me about emotions. So if you have a nice flowing river, you know, that's a really good sign, like a nice babbling creek. But the beaver is a architect of emotions. So they create the dams, and this can actually change the landscape of a situation. So they can be very, very beneficial to an environment because they can control the flow of the water to create a manageable level, but it can also have an impact on the future, right? If you think about downstream. So if there's a sudden change to the water level, this can kind of dry out a landscape and change the landscape of the future. It can also flood a landscape. So this talks about emotional overwhelm or too many emotions. So the beaver really talks about getting the emotions right in a situation, almost like turning a tap to get the perfect amount of flow of emotions. The fox is a very, very cunning energy. It's very instinctive. It talks about you being a very intelligent sign, Libra. I don't think you always necessarily show it, but air signs are naturally inherently of the mind and intelligent and constructive and kind of strategic. So and with Libra, this often comes out with strategic in social situations where you want to keep the balance, you want to make sure you know, you're looking for signs of danger in terms of like is this going to upset the balance of my life, is this going to create a problem, and you're quite quick to kind of subtly address those problems. So again, you can be a bit of a peacemaker. You can definitely stir the pot if the pot needs to be stirred, but you can be quite strategic about spotting the early warning signs of you know, things that may come in and upset the balance of your life. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. What else do we have, please? So again, the beaver with oh gosh, you've got quite a lot there. The beaver with the fox, it talks to me about really kind of trying to intellectualize your emotions and to control your emotional flow in a way that is manageable. And again, you could be strategically changing an environment by knowing how much love to give in a situation. If I go back to miracle drops, right, it's like, you know that perhaps you have a huge amount of emotion, a huge amount of feelings for somebody or a situation. It doesn't have to be a specific person. It's like you have this this overwhelming love for somebody, but you recognize that it can be too much. It can be too much and it can be scary, especially if somebody's not used to receiving that much love. You had a lot of kind of Halsey songs. Again, I'll kind of put things in the description box down below for you to check out about this. Actually, do you know what? Let me pull up my notes. So the Halsey song that came through for you, kind of as I looked at Miracle Drops, was Forever is a Long Time. So it's, I spent a long time watering a plant made out of plastic. Again, this idea of like, this could be an old situation where you've been giving a lot of love, but it's not being received, right? Maybe this person didn't need love, something like that. And I cursed the ground for growing green. So it's like all this love that they've put into this plant that's plastic, you know, it's a waste of love. But it's had an effect on the environment around it. Do you see what I mean? I spent a long time substituting honest with sarcastic, and I cursed my tongue for being mean. Weightless, breathless, restitute, most motionless and absolute, he cut me open, sucked the poison from an aging wound. Again, that reference to poison. Sucked the poison from an aging wound. So again, this idea of like healing, sucking out the venom, right? Now 50,000 war cadets would cower at this small brunette. So this is talking about the healing impact somebody has on you makes you so strong that they turn you into a warrior. To my surprise, not 6 feet high, would reach and grab the moon if I should ask, or just simply imply that I wanted a bit more light so I could look inside his eyes and get the colours just right. So again, maybe somebody is an artist, you're trying to paint somebody, get the colour of the eyes right. But love built, God built provinces, build calluses, break promises, because I could never hold a perfect thing and not demolish it. What am I thinking? What does this mean? How could anybody ever love me? So yeah, it's this, how could anyone ever love me if I don't know how to love myself, right? So Halsey, oh, the year 20 could be important to you. So it could be, you could be in your 20s. You could think about something that happened to you 20 years ago or 20 years ago. Again, I went into this kind of like regeneration meditation where I went back to my 2-year-old self. My 2-year-old self was on a boat. I'm 40, so I took off 20 years, took me to 22. I took off another 20 years, it took me to 2. So I was having a conversation with my 2-year-old self. And my 2-year-old self, when I found her, I was on a rowboat in the middle of a stormy, choppy ocean. If you think about the end of, what's that Jim Carrey movie? The Truman Show, where he's in the boat, right? And so I was this little 2-year-old vulnerable version of myself that was in this choppy ocean and this stormy ocean, and was just crying for a mum. Now this isn't a real memory, this isn't something that happened to me, but again, in meditation I was taken back to, you know, my childhood and how vulnerable I was. You know, you've got the Daughter of Pentacles showing here, this doe keeps coming up in this set of readings. It's really talking about that vulnerable child inside you, about the young vulnerable version of yourself that was naive and didn't know what to do in difficult situations. So I think you have been doing a lot of work on, you know, fixing childhood trauma and being a parent to your own inner child through regression. Perhaps some of you could be doing regression therapy and things like this. Some of you may have a Scorpio father or a partner. It's basically a male figure in your life, probably doesn't have to be a male, who could be it came through in the reverse. In your previous reading, it was here with the death card. So some of you could have just lost a father, particularly a Scorpio father or a father figure. Again, you've got this feeling of like betrayal, and the Father of Cups in the reverse is like emotional overwhelm. In the upright, it is very healing, it is very loving, deep emotions, solid, dependable. In the reverse, it's like it's quite toxic. The Father of Cups is one of the most toxic energies for me because it's emotionally manipulative. So again, that's kind of come out for you again there. So definitely showing up twice for you. Oh my goodness. You know, when you turn your camera on, it's front facing and you look awful. So back to the song, Forever is a Long Time by Halsey. It says, in this same interview, she talks about duality and the meaning of the song and how exactly it's paired with other songs from the trio. So I will put all 3 songs down below. You can go and look it up. Go and look up Halsey's wiki page about this song. So she says, on this song, I'm falling in love. The instrumental is major. All these beautiful twinkling tones and birds are singing. Everything is sweet. It's Cinderella, my namesake. And then I start getting in my own head. The piano comes in and this stream of consciousness train of thought that modulates, and she talks about the music, to show my mood shifting from optimistic to anxious. And now I'm sabotaging this relationship and feeling paranoid. This is going to be bad. Yeah, so it's the energy of finding something that's really healing, finding something that has those kind of like big emotions of love and kind of like somebody who wants to nurture you, somebody who wants to protect you, somebody who's very genuine, and that being scary because you don't know what to do with that. So there's this pushing away and rejection before it can reject you. So again, it's coming through with truth. Let's do it like this. Oh my god, look at these cards, Libra. So I want to say when you do the work, and when I want to say the person or people that you surround yourself with are also doing the work, it's incredibly healing. You end with the Sun card and the Ten of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is the most positive. The Ten of Cups and the Sun are the 2 most positive cards that you could get emotionally, in terms of feelings, in terms of happiness, and things being really good. And you've got this beautiful healing rainbow here as well on the Daughter of Pentacles. So again, with the Son of Pentacles and the Daughter of Pentacles, I do feel like, again, you're mirroring somebody. There is a truth here. And it's the Daughter of Pentacles is a planner. She's kind of, I'll move when I'm good and ready. I'll move when I've figured things out. I'll move when I've got a plan. I'll move when I've got the right resources. I'll move when I've got the map and I've mapped out my route. So it's this energy of like back to the drawing board. I've got to figure things out here. I've got to prepare. And it's quite practical. Son of Pentacles is moving forward, but moving forward one step at a time. It's like he's got his head down there. He's not really looking to the future. He's just following the compass. He's following the map. So really kind of very steady. But what you're moving towards, and again, you've got this truth and clarity. And again, the Sun card and the Ace of Swords are about seeing things clearly, seeing deception, self-deception, seeing where people have been strategic and why. And again, you know, it's leading to the Sun card. So you have this Ten of Cups with the Fox as well. So this tells me again, you're being very strategic about surrounding yourself with people who have deep, perhaps complex emotions, but being willing to build something bright. You surrounded yourself with people that, yes, they may be damaged. Yes, they may have some toxicity, which again, you may also have. But in moving forward together, taking it a day at a time, having that self-acceptance and the acceptance of others, but willingness to grow together and to become better and to push through is it is building this I want to say it's a group with the Ten of Cups. It's like this group of people who are creating a very healing environment or a very healing energy between you all. So I want to say everybody, because again, I feel like there's a lot of people here. So it could be that you have a significant someone, a special someone, a friend, a love interest, a family member, a father, a child. So it's this energy of, I'm not perfect. I am never going to be perfect. I'm going to stop trying to be perfect. I'm not going to try and show up as, kind of like Aries had this build a bitch energy. It was like, you don't get to pick or choose my eye color. You don't get to pick or choose the size of my body. And you had this as well last week, Libra, where it was like, I can't control anyone's opinion of me. I can only show up and be authentic. And people are going to take me how they want to take me. You know, if people see me as a bad person, then, you know, they're probably projecting some of their own core wounding onto me, or using me as a mirror to navigate the world and explore that part of themselves, or hide from that part of themselves. So in meditation last night, or it was kind of like a dream, I had this thing where I was in a plain room. It was a really, really plain square room. It was kind of like an interrogation room, you know, like the police use when they're interrogating people. And I was sat on one side of the table across from this other. And there was literally a mirror in front of me, so I couldn't see the person behind the mirror. It's like, you know, the police mirror is normally on the side of the room, but it was like it was in the middle of the table. So it's like I couldn't see this person who was on the other side of the table. But in the seat opposite me, I could see myself because there was a mirror there. And then the lighting changed in the room so that I could look through the mirror, and I could see that there was a person sat opposite me, but my own reflection was kind of like still kind of overlaid on top of them. So I was really getting this message of, again, it was almost like I instinctively knew that what I was seeing, the person opposite me was also seeing. So it really was this example of, you know, being sat across the table from someone and perhaps having a discussion with them, but only seeing what it's like. You're not it's like this message of like two people who weren't really seeing each other. They weren't really seeing the authentic person sat across from them, because we all see through our own perspective, right? Everything we interact with is to an extent a projection of our own psyche. So when we have a discussion with somebody, we're half hearing them and half interpreting what they're saying through our own filters, because we've navigated the world a certain way. But again, it's like, it was this energy of like, you're doing this, but they're also doing this. So it's like you're exactly the same. So when you're dealing with this person, you're actually seeing yourself, was the way it's coming through, but it was happening from both sides. Does that make any sense? But under the table, it's like the feet could, even though there was this mirror separating them, it's like the feet could touch. So it was like there was a human connection there. And perhaps with it being the feet and the ground, this was talking about like grounding the connection, like having your feet on the ground, perhaps being aware. Libra as a sign, particularly if you've got, like me, a Venus Libra placement, or something like Pisces as well, Pisces placements, having this kind of tendency to put rose tinted glasses on in a situation, having this sense of fairy tale, you know, it's like I'm living in this existence. I am living my life, and anything that is not beautiful and perfect in that life, I'm gonna almost put blinkers on, or almost overlay a prettier picture on top, is the way it's coming through, especially with that creating and healing energy. So it's like it's almost like seeing the glasses half full, or putting on the rose tinted glasses, or maybe denial of the bad things, because it's like you want to live in the fairy tale. So anything that doesn't fit that rose tinted fantasy in your mind, Libra, you're kind of ignoring. But I want to say this other person, so again, it's really difficult for me to read this reading. There's a lot coming in. So for some of you, and again, it could be everything that I'm saying in different ways. So you could have been in relationships where you and this other person were in denial about the things that weren't working, and you painted this kind of fairy tale picture on top of it that, you know, we'll make things better, we'll heal this, we'll take it one day at a time. I don't know, maybe it doesn't heal, or it leaves you feeling trapped, like you can't kind of expand. It could also be a case of again, you've got all this light being shone in a situation, and I want to say this intention to move forward. So let's just see if anything else wants to come out of this deck. Just to the black egg. Yeah, there's a huge amount of potential here. There's something instinctive happening with you, Libra, where I just saw the shark there. I wasn't quite ready to show it, but it's, again, it's this thing about integrating things. So you could have a tendency with the beaver there, Libra, to, it's like to strategically self-protect in situations where it's almost like you go cold-blooded. So being an energy of swords, right? Because you've got this Ten of Swords energy, which is a brutal card. It's a painful ending. It's a card about betrayal, being stabbed in the back. And swords are very analytical, and you've got this sword here. So, and this thing about being trapped in your own head, you've got this real feeling of holding back with the beaver. It's like holding back your emotions, because I want to say in the past, when you've let your emotions flow, it's either been very overwhelming. So again, this card came out in the reverse in your last reading. It's been very overwhelming for yourself and perhaps for others as well. Perhaps it's one of those things where you come on too strong, it scares other people away. They're not used to handling such big feelings, and you are a sign that has really big feelings, Libra, but you do hide it. It's like you've taught yourself to hide it. You've taught yourself to tame your enthusiasm in love. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic, it can be friendships, you know, that energy of like loving so much and coming on so strong. But again, you've got this real healing quality to it. So you feel like, because in the past, when you've let your emotions flow, you've had betrayal, right? You've been hurt. So in holding back your emotions strategically, sometimes you get too analytical and too in your headspace, which leads you to come off as quite cold and quite ruthless. But you need the sun, right? You need that warmth, you need the heat, because it's like you are the black egg. You have, you know, if you think about Game of Thrones, right? Cersei, not Cersei, what's her name? Daenerys puts, everybody's like, oh, the eggs they're just old eggs. They don't actually, you know, don't work anymore. They're just decorative now. But she knows, right? They were meant for her. So she knows that if she puts them in the fire, they'll, you know, she'll get dragons, basically. So it's like, you've got the same energy. You've got this energy of like, you had this thing about like potential, like wasted potential in the reading that I did off camera. So it's like your own wasted potential. It's like you're full of this creative healing energy. It's like this is inside you, is the way I'm seeing it, like trying to come out, bursting to come out. But it's like you keep yourself small because of that core wounding from the past. So because I want to say you're self-protecting, right? And it's not just self-protection. There's also something coming through the reading about, it's almost like protecting others from how powerful your emotions can be, right? Because you recognize that can be overwhelming. Like, again, coming through with miracle drops, right? So it's like, your love is like a drip on the ocean. It's like your love's like, I don't know, you've got this kind of like almost like all or nothing energy, or like taming this. It's like taming this love monster inside you, is the way it's coming through. And it's almost like the happiness of others, right? The happiness of the group, the connections you have with others are in some way creating this. Oh, look at those two energies together. I put those in separately and they've come back out together. That was in another reading. and again, I've always put the cards in separately and they've come back out, so I can't remember who that was, but perhaps you're dealing with the same sign. It's like your own thoughts are stopping you from having this expansion. So I'm seeing it as like the happiness of others is creating almost like a gate that it's like you're scared of. The way I'm seeing it is, rather than it being something that can hurt you, like if you kind of came into your final form, right? If you came into your full power, Libra, if you really showed your true colors, if you showed how magnificent you truly are, you know, if you stood in your full power, basically, I usually see it as like these swords will hurt you, your own thoughts will hurt you, the opinions of others will hurt you, but I'm not really seeing it like that today. I'm seeing it more that you're almost there, like, I don't know, keeping yourself warm, or keeping yourself small, because it's like the connections around you, the connections of your family and your friends or your community around you, it's like these are so, it's almost like the spider webs. So it's like if you the way I'm seeing it is almost like this is like a spider web, but it's like a good spider web, right? It's like it's benefiting other people are happy, and you're kind of behind the web, and it's like you want to come out, right? It's like you want to emerge from this dark place perhaps that you've been. It's almost like this, right? It's like, I can try and show you what I'm seeing. So it's like you're down there in the dark, right? You're down there with your own thoughts, perhaps hiding quite how distressed you are, hiding your own, I don't know, you feel like you're almost like hiding depression, or like hiding your stress, because it's like if you, so it's like if that was like you know, very fine spider webs, you know, and then you kind of emerged out of your chrysalis and went flying up, it's like you're going to damage the connections with all those other people. Do you see what I mean? It's like by you chasing your happiness, by you chasing your rainbow, you've got to go through the rainbow of others to get there. So it's like you're going to upset a community, you're going to upset your family if you have that expansion. So, but it's like you want to, right? It's because it's like you want to, if you're down here like this, right? It's like you see the light, you want to go towards it because it's going to heat you up, right? It's going to warm you up. It's like you've got all this potential. It's almost like it's like it's wrapped up. Again, you had this thing about like wrapping up in your other reading. You had like a tarantula and a cobra, and it was coming through as predatory. Again, it's coming through as like being clingy, perhaps, like wanting to obsessively grab onto someone and wrap yourself around them, like, you know, like a boa, and never let them go. Which again, I think was coming from a place of wounding. But now it's coming through as perhaps someone's done this to you. You know, you're the one that's all wrapped up. You're the one. It's really constricted. It's really, because you had like the hummingbird and stuff as well. And so it's like within this black egg, it's all your energy is all, it's like all, you know, like how a snake, it's that energy of like, you know how like a snake kind of like grabs and wraps, or like how a tarantula grabs and, it's like you're all, I don't know, constricted around something that you've grabbed onto. But in doing so, it's like you've trapped yourself. It's like you're all muscle and you're all muscle and elastic, right? There's all this tension and constriction, but it's almost like you've done it to yourself, I want to say. So instead of grabbing another, it's almost like you're grabbing yourself and kind of constricting up in this kind of tight little ball of nothingness and wasted potential, trapped in your own thoughts, desiring this heat, desiring this passion, desiring this warmth, desiring to be part of this, but recognizing that you're too big for it. Is the way it's going through. Yeah, so look at this. It's like, you see what I mean? It's like all constricted. It's like, maybe it's a thought. Maybe you've got some kind of thought that you've latched onto, and it's like you've completely, it's like you've dug your nails into something, you've dug your teeth into something, and you've completely wrapped up tight around this thing. It represents some sort of truth to you. I don't know what to say, Libra, but the last reading ran into this double devil energy, and but then it went into judgment. So it's almost like a second chance, or this moment of coming out of the chrysalis, right? The judgment card being like this second life energy. So it's like it had this feeling, because it's like the Lovers card, and the Lovers card in this deck, let me just kind of show you. The Lovers card in this deck is like two birds that are exactly the same. So again, it's like you and this other, right? You and this mirror, who are, you're mirroring each other. It's like you've got the same abandonment issues, you've got the same, I don't know, it's like you sacrificed your own inner child in some sort of way. Yeah, it is coming up with another sign. So you've got you have got an, I'll let you go and check it out, because there's a few signs that you kind of like tapping into a little bit, but there's a specific sign that you're mirroring very strongly. But again, like, everybody's situation is going to be different, so go and check it out. Whatever signs you feel like, you know, if you feel like there's a specific someone who you think, yeah, this person, they are like a mirror projection of me. They are like a, you know, all my wounding is triggered by this person, and I'm sure I'm doing the same for them. But it's almost like, again, if you've got this kind of runner chaser energy, like overwhelmed, you know, it's like it's almost like clashes. It's like each interaction you have being this like clash of like lessons, or this clash of, I don't know, having a light shone on yourself so you can go away and kind of like do your shadow work, and then it's like you come back together and you have this moment of, and it's coming through as love, right? It's coming through as your love for this person, or your love for yourself mirrored in this other person. I want to say, I don't know what kind of relationship this is for you, Libra. I don't know if this is literally a lover, because the lover card came out in your last reading, or if this is a child, again, like a child that's kind of mirroring your childhood, or, you know, it could be literally any relationship. And it could be multiple relationships with that Ten of Cups there, where you're starting to see any projection you have on another is just something you need to work through yourself, right? It's not a problem with them. I mean, it could be a problem with them, but their problems are their problems for them to deal with, right? It's their life to you know, to either work on themselves or not, right? But it's like, you can't control others, you can control yourself. You can control how you react to things. You can ask yourself why you're reacting to things a certain way. So I want to say, with this person, you've had this kind of clash, like energy. It's like this coming together with a lot of force, right? Because I want to say, again, you've got the energy of you and this other being the same, perhaps overly enthusiastic, you know, about relationships, perhaps, you know, having huge emotions for each other, with the Father of Cups there as well. It's like coming together because there's this strong magnetic attraction, or this strong, it's like elastic, like pulling you. And it's like you have this moment of like feeling like you're in the sun, and then it's like some sort of truth comes out of this, that it feels like a repeating pattern. So it's like you have this moment where it's like, oh, this person is here, they're in front of me, you know, oh my goodness, I'm so happy. But then it's like the next day, maybe you go out with friends and this person's there, and it's like, oh, I got to spend time with that person, and you know, they make you feel really good about yourself, they make you feel loved, they make you feel like just really good about yourself. It's like they give you this sun energy. And it's like you go, you know, you go home, you get in bed, the next day you wake up with anxiety, you think about all the stupid things you said, you know, they sent you a message, you ignore it, you send them a message, they ignore it, and like it's like you both kind of ignore each other and pretend you don't know each other. It's like, oh, were you there last night? Oh, I didn't see you. Even though you spent like an hour chatting intently with each other. So it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like this, it's overwhelming. It's like it's so much. But it's like perhaps it's something like each interaction that you have with each other, I want to say you're obsessed, because it's, again, the energy that came through in your last reading, you had, so trigger warning for people who don't like spiders. It's like this. It's like this, right? It's like a moment of happiness, you know, a moment with this person just feels so good. They feel like the sun. So it's like, and it's what you need, right? It's that warmth that you needed. So you grab onto it and you wrap up tight around it and you keep it inside, right? It's like, oh, precious miracle drop. And then it's like you've got to digest it. You've got to digest it. And like what that means to you and why that matters. So again, trigger warnings for snakes and spiders. So you had this card in the off-camera reading. And again, I was trying to work my way through it because it's a big reading. There's a lot going on here. So again, it was like you and this other, you do the same thing. You do the same thing, right? You have this interaction. It feels really good. It feels like this, I want to say. You have this thing about maybe, it could be like Thanksgiving. I know that a lot of people are celebrating Thanksgiving. And like maybe it was coming through as like somebody who wasn't invited. But then it's like being sat across from somebody at a table and being like, you know, having this energy. It's like this energy is in that environment, and then like you and this other person like almost like sat across from each other, and it's like, again, you're not exactly the same, but it's like you do the same thing, right? You grab, you cling. So again, I want to say it's abandonment issues. And again, it came out with double devil energy as well. The devil came out twice. I had to get a third deck involved because I was just trying to figure out what was going on. So it's like, so what you do, right? It's like this happy feeling, this 10 of Cups energy, this sun energy, because you need it so badly, because you're so cold, right? It's like you need that heat. You both, each side of the table, you make a grab for it, right? You make a grab for it. It's like grabbing the last cake on the table or something. You both grab onto that energy, right? You take a piece of that sun, you coil yourself tightly around it, you grab onto it, you coil around it until it's like really, really tightly inside you. It's like you've ate the sun, right? You've ate that, like that bright spark between you. It's like you've gone, I'm gonna like drag it away. I'm gonna drag it away back to my deep dark hole kind of thing. I'm gonna like nom on this. I'm gonna nom on this interaction that I had with this other person because it made me feel so good. I mean, the sun is like happiness. It's like complete freedom to be yourself, completely happy, completely accepted with that 10 of Cups there. It's like being truly yourself and being completely accepted and so happy. And it's like you and this other person are doing this kind of miracle drop energy, and then like kind of thing. So that's how I'm seeing it. But it's like it's all building up inside you. It's like you've taken in so much of that sun energy. It's just like you just want to, it's like you're heating up from the inside is the way it's coming through. Look at this. Look at this energy of you. Look at this, Libra. I don't know what, I mean, I do know what you're doing, right? And it's you and this other. So do check out other readings because you'll see kind of what I'm saying at some point. You and this other, right? Both in the dark, both searching for that nom nom energy. Right? It's like this is what you're creating. You're creating this, I want to say inner healing, right? It's like this inner healing, this inner light. But then it's like by the end of the reading, you and this other were like flying off together in this beautiful sun energy. It's like gorgeous. So I'm not saying like you're going to run away with somebody or anything like that, but I think it is coming into alignment. And again, it was like the double devil energy with the judgment card. It was like, again, this feeling of like, they keep giving me Better the Devil You Know by Kylie Minogue. Better the devil you know, better the devil you know. And it's like, better the devil you know. Like, you know this person, right? You know it's like you see, you know and you understand this part of each other, right? This kind of, it was coming through with because you had two cats as well. You had a few animals, and they were all kind of like the fox as well. They're all ambush predators. So you had this kind of like lying in wait ambush energy. So I want to say that is something about with all this fire. It's like stop overthinking it, because overthinking just, oh, you've got so many cards now. Overthinking just makes you feel really, really trapped, right? Overthinking it makes you feel trapped. When you just do it, when you do what's instinctive, it's like, this is what's bringing you into this energy. You had things like Someone Like Me by Atomic Kitten. I Need Someone Like Me. So it really was this self-acceptance and acceptance of the other, because it's like you're mirroring each other's shadow, is the way it was coming through. There's a lot going on there. I'm actually going to get you, how am I going to get you? The Tarot de la Nuit is pulling me really strongly for your reading, Libra. So I'm going to get you a Tarot de la Nuit card. Again, what are we on? 49 minutes, 50 minutes. That's not too bad, actually, for such... Again, there's so much. It's like you're carrying... It really does feel like, Libra, you've done so much soul growth that you're really carrying this, the creator energy. Like... because this is what I kind of do when I'm doing meditation work. I think your soul, everybody's soul is like this diamond, right? It's like you've got so many facets, so many different ways of presenting to the world. But if you shine a light through it, it's transparent, right? You can shine a light through it and see every single facet. You can see yourself very, very clearly. So the idea is to get a nice clear diamond, and that tells me that somebody's done a lot of soul growth. This motif comes through for you all the time, Libra. Did I say you've got diamond? Did I say that this card fell out, the diamond, as I was kind of like tidying up my cards from the last reading? So Libra, it's like cleansing. It's something about taking this light and cleansing your soul with it. But then sometimes I get this motif of like a black diamond. It's like it's a mirror ball, they're telling me, like Taylor Swift. It's like when you're doing the healing, I want to say when you're in that kind of like withdraw back to your den, kind of hide, analyze, what does this mean to me? Like, I want to kind of like suck out the, not the venom, maybe it's like, maybe that's what you're doing. You're sucking out the venom and transmuting something into this healing energy, is the way it's coming through. Again, with that song, that Halsey song, she talks about this person who's sucked out the venom, right? And it's not literal, it's metaphorically. It's somebody who's removing the toxins from your they're telling me childhood trauma. It sounds like a lot. It's for removing the toxins from your life experiences that have left you feeling like that, is the way it's coming through. And it's coming through this reviving energy. Again, you ended with judgment. It's like reviving. It's second chance. Again, this butterfly soup, there's a book called Butterfly Soup. It's a children's book, because the caterpillar, this animal that crawls and eats, and lives on the ground, it has this second life. It actually goes into the chrysalis, it turns into mush. You've got this thing about like the mush, right? So it's like something, I want to say it's like something internal. You're doing something internally. It's like you turn to mush, you turn to soup. Maybe this person makes you mushy, right? Again, like the feelings you have for this person, you go all mushy. But it's like in doing this, you regenerate, right? You have this expansion. So you've got this real contraction, expansion energy. It's like you're waiting to expand. What do we have, please, for Libra? Knight of Cups. Look at that. Look at it. It's this shield over a heart. I do feel like you're protecting your own heart, you're protecting your own feelings. And again, it doesn't have to be a lover. It could be just any kind of relationship that you have with another, right? It could be the guy that you know in the shop, that you have a chat with about milk. It doesn't have to be, it could be a kid, it could be a teacher, it could be a grandparent, it could be everyone, it could be every single person you meet in your life. Right? And having this kind of like this shielding over your smushy heart, because life is hard, life is cruel, life teaches us to, if you think about how children are with each other, a lot of the time, if you have a child who's, say, like a 4-year-old, 5-year-old who is, relatively confident, they're surrounded by love, like a loving family, supportive people around them, they've had no reason to hide how they feel. They've had no reason, they've always been accepted. So it's like they've had no reason to hide how they feel, right? So it's like you could have those kind of kids, those 5-year-olds, and they run up to people and they're like, I like you. Do you want to be my friend? Your Transformer's awesome. Let's play together. I think you're the bestest. We're besties now. You know, if you hear them talk to each other, like they've never been rejected, so they've never had to hide how they feel. Where I think if you've been rejected a lot, especially if you've been rejected by a parent, either literally rejected by a parent or you know, it could be as much love as your love as your parents had for you. Maybe they were absent in some sort of way. Maybe they just had to work. You know, maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they just had to work a lot and they were never around. My mum was working the night shift at one point, you know, so it's like maybe they just weren't emotionally available. It can be a lot of different things, right? Maybe you had a really painful rejection when you were, I don't know, in your teenage years, when you really loved somebody and they shot you down and it really hurt and it taught you to, you know, not ask people out anymore. It could be so many different things, but it's got this real shielding over your heart space, because I think there is a lot of emotional, like, shoring up a lot. It's like the beaver works really hard on this. The beaver works really hard on perhaps presenting as being cold and ruthless, but so love as a compass. Do you remember I said that, didn't I? Did I say that? Where's that Knight of Pentacles gone? The Knight of Pentacles is hiding. There he is, Son of Pentacles. I said it's like he's following the map, right? He's got his compass, he's got his map, he's not looking up, he's not looking where he's going, he's relying on his skills, right? He's relying on his training, he's relying on his skills, he's relying on his tools, which is a very earthy thing to do. So again, it's like this, I can't see where I'm going, but I know that if I follow, again, talking about the tools and talking about that Stutz TV show on Netflix, it's like if I follow these tools that I've been given to develop myself, you know, if I take this step by step, one day at a time, you know, I know that, you know, if I trust my tools, if I trust my training, if I trust the plan that I came up with, right? If I trust the plan that I came up with here, and I take my compass and I take my map, I know I'm gonna get out of the woods eventually, right? It's like I have to trust they're not trusting their intuition, they're trusting they're trusting the plan, they're trusting the map, they're trusting the practical things there. The Knight of Cups is trusting their heart. Their heart is their compass, which I think is what you're being asked to do more, Libra. I am the Knight of the Heart. I am attractive because I know how to love myself as well as others. And again, loving yourself is not expecting yourself to be perfect. Loving yourself is accepting your flaws, all your flaws, including that devil on your shoulder, right? So you're never going to have, if you don't learn to love imperfection, your own imperfection and the imperfections of others, you're never going to have true love, because true love is not this person's so easy to love because they're perfect. They literally tick all my boxes. You know, that idealized kind of love. True love is loving somebody and supporting them even though they're not perfect. Just like how you expect somebody to love and support you even though you're not perfect. And it's a hard truth. And that's not saying that you stay in toxic relationships where you're not respected or, you know, you're not having your needs met. What I'm saying is this is relationships where, and it's not just love, right? It's any kind of relationship where you build together. You know, you recognize that you're both going to have good days and bad days. You stay, right? It's like you don't run when you're having bad days or your person's having bad days. You stay and you work on it together. You work on, okay, how do we get through this bad day? I don't know. Again, there's a difference between toxic and just, again, maybe go and look at actual psychologists and like relationship doctors and advice on YouTube from people who are qualified to give you this. I'm just reading cards. But yeah, it's a really good person to look at, and then they're not particularly they don't particularly do like love videos, but there's a brilliant YouTube channel called Cinema Therapy where they look at films, and they have a filmmaker and a licensed family therapist, and they talk about, you know, the portrayal of relationships on screen. So that's a really good example of, I think, again, my name's Cinderella, right? Cinderella Tarot. And I'm a Libra, and I do believe in, I want to believe in fairy tale romance, because I think, to me, keeping that hope alive is what stops you sliding into depression. But again, it's like, I think going for more of a fallible hero is better and healthier, and I think this is the way that Disney's been moving. So if you compare Prince Charming, right, who's actually kind of boring, to somebody like Flynn Rider, who is a very flawed hero, but he's the hero that Rapunzel needs, right? I think, yeah, I don't know, there's something in that. So, my heart is smarter than my head. That's why my emotions are the map I'm following to guide me through life. Oh, my emotions are the map I'm following to guide me through life. I'm always connected to my intuition. I'm sending you an invitation to follow me. But if you wish to do so, you'll have to go by my rules. You've got this feeling of like going off plan or off map. It's like, if you feel like you've been following the plan, right? If you feel like you've been following the map, logically, strategically, through your training and things like this, it's like, what's your intuition telling you? If this has been leading you around in circles, what happens if you follow your heart? It's making me think of, I watched this other tarot card reader called Awakening to Spirit. And in one of her readings, she was once talking about how she went to, I think she was like a teenager at the time. She went to a forest, and they were told, follow the compass, follow the needle, and do not veer off track. So she was walking through this forest, and I think the first time that they did it, she said, I don't know why this story stuck with me. It's not even my own story. I don't even like personally know her. I just really like her readings. But she was talking about going through this forest. And she didn't have a map, and she didn't have a compass, and she was relying on her intuition, actually. And she thought, she could have sworn she was heading dead straight, and she actually went off course. She veered off course. So then they did the test again and actually followed the compass and followed the needle point, and she was like, there's no way this is going straight. And it did. It led her out of the forest. So, but this is almost like an inversion. It's like a flip of that story. If you wish to do so, you have to go by my rules. Don't just love, express your love. Don't just dream, manifest your dream. Okay, Libra dreamers. Don't just hope, fight for your passions. Imagine and feel, but also act. Commit to the world. Turn your ideas into something real. With all your heart, let love in the largest sense be your strong and unique compass. Become a knight of the heart in your turn. Keywords: following the heart instead of the head, quest for love, imagination, but also action. It's like creating the fairy tale in your mind and then being like, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make this happen, not just for myself, but for others, right? It's like, maybe they're doing Enchanted too, aren't they? I love that film Enchanted, where she's this fairy tale princess, and then she lands in our jaded reality, but then she makes our jaded reality more like a fairy tale. So maybe it's something to do with that film coming out. But I do see you doing this. I do see you showing other people that love is possible, that, you know, you can create a better world. And you do it through the connections of others. But again, you've got this feeling of like not wanting to destroy the connections of others by your own expansion. It's interesting. Let's get you one more advice card, Libra, because again, this reading's a lot and I'm confused. I'm like, do I follow the compass? Is my heart the compass? Do I follow my emotions? Do I follow the training? What's the plan here? I've got this kind of like, I feel confused. Bring your ideas to life. I don't know. You've got the creator. You've got all this stuff about follow your heart, make your dreams happen, bring the fairy tale into your reality. I don't know what else to tell you here. I think that's pretty clear. I need to go and write my book, don't I? Bring your ideas to life. Seemingly out of nowhere, the jolt of electric eel spirit appears to awaken you to a big idea that you're meant to explore. Epiphanies and aha moments are gifted to you right now, so celebrate. Your life has the potential for profound transformation. So maybe what you're gripping onto, because the cosmic egg literally is like some kind of creative idea, right? It's like this energy and this energy together. So maybe you do have an idea with the Ace of Swords there, and you grab it, right? And you're like, this is my idea. I'm doing this. Your life has the potential for profound transformation. Inspiration arises in you, electrifying you so that you can't wait to get started bringing your ideas to life. The revelations you experience now are meant to set you on a new path, so do not be afraid to act. Explore, examine, and do not fear the changes that may come, for Spirit wants to shower you with the love, success, and abundance that you hope to experience. Now is a thrilling time of epiphanies, inspired ideas, and innovation. This is a wondrous sign for you today. I don't know, do that thing that creative idea that you've been thinking about, just go and do it. Just get started. But I feel like you'll know. It's like that rush of enthusiasm, that rush of, I'm going to grab onto this. I think is going to tell you that you're going to know. It's like you're not even going to doubt. You're not even going to question it, because the enthusiasm is going to just carry you forward. So Velvet World by Shiadanni was the song from the start of the reading. And let's get you an advice song right now. Honeymoon by Lana Del Rey. Maybe you're off on a honeymoon, I don't know. We both know that it's not fashionable to love me, but don't go, because truly there's nobody for you but me. We could cruise to the blues. Like, that kind of confidence. Like, don't go, because truly there's nobody for you but me. It's like, right? I don't know. We could cruise to the blues, Wilshire Boulevard if we choose, or whatever you want to do. We make the rules. Our honeymoon, say you want me to, dark blue. We both know the history of violence that surrounds you, but I'm not scared. There's nothing to lose now that I've found you. We could cruise to the news, pick over Boulevard in your little used bullet car if we choose. Mr. Born to Lose. There are violets in your eyes. There are guns that blaze around you. There are roses in between my thighs and fire that surrounds you. What is this in between my thighs business, Libra? Behave. It's no wonder every man in town has neither fought nor found you. Everything you do is elusive, to even your honeydew. Our honeymoon, dreaming away your life. Dreaming away your life. It's like you've got a dream, you've got to make it happen, right? So I've got so many. I've joined a new social media network. So as if my phone wasn't pinging enough already, I'm on. All the apps. Okay, let's get you one more card. So Diamond, don't forget who you are, Libra. Jupiter, expansion. Yeah, no, that is, you've got so much potential, and with Jupiter here, it's an energy of there's no limits. When you start to expand, it's not going to stop, basically. Jupiter's a really big energy. It's like god of the gods, right? King of the kings, capo di capo, capo di capi. It was sorry, that came out in, I want to say, Gemini or Cancer's reading. And the chalice, yeah, I don't know, the cup, it's like with the King of Cups there, it's like it's like there's so much love, like, because the chalice is something that contains, right? The chalice is the cup, it's the container. It's like this energy, this Jupiter energy, I want to say, that's inside of you is too big for the container. So you're going to need a bigger cup. What's that? We're going to need a bigger cup. What is that? I feel like that's a quote from something. Okay, we're getting lewd. I'm going into lewd territory, so I'm going to call the reading there. I hope this was helpful for you. I just want to say, like, you've got, it's your heart, right? It's your capacity to love is expanding here. You know, you're outgrowing. You could be outgrowing a situation. You could be. It has this feeling back to the beaver and that thing about watering a plastic plant. It's like you've outgrown a container, you've outgrown an environment, you're too big now for that situation. But again, I feel like if you're gonna expand, I feel like it's gonna damage, I feel like it's like upsetting the nest in a way. It's upsetting the environment if you reach your full potential, but it's like you're bursting at the seams, Libra. All right, I hope this was really helpful to you. Please take care of yourselves. Nurture yourself first. You know, you're gonna give the best love when you it's just got to show me this like wrapping yourself up tight again. Maybe it's like wrap yourself in your duvet and just give yourself a big hug. It's like when you learn to love yourself, when you appreciate your own, when you appreciate the love that you have to give, and you know the quality of it, and you know the healing potential and the power of it. They're telling me magnified, and they're showing me this. It's like magnified. Again, it's this thing about intensity. So you've got this curling up energy at the moment, this kind of containing this, and kind of it's like containing it and purifying it. I want to say it's your own emotions, your own soul, but it's like when you unravel, it's going to be this push energy. All right, I hope that was helpful to you. Please take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. Bye, friends.